So, guys, I am here with Maneesh. I said that right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited to have him on here. I was trying to talk to him for probably about a month. He was on Shark Tank Season 7, and he's got a very successful company. So I do appreciate you coming on here because I have a lot of respect for you and the company that you've built. So just to dive right into it, because I know you're a pretty busy guy. So tell us, you have this company. Tell us a little bit about the people that are watching this, by the way, a lot of these people they're entrepreneurs. They're people that are getting started with something. They might have a business. It's probably not to the level that you're at. Or some people, they're just trying to figure out what they want to do, with their lives to make money and be successful and support themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So share with us a little bit about the company you have now and how you came up with the idea for it.
Sure. So the company I have now is for a product called Pavlok. It's a wearable device that helps people change their habits. And the product is designed to basically vibrate, beep, and release electric impulses that reward you for doing good behaviors and stop you from doing bad ones. And so the product looks like, this is in the new band, but it looks like this. It's a little module that you can pair to your smartphone, and it can vibrate, beep, or zap. Is there a lot of background audio?
No, it's coming through pretty clearly.
Cool. So the product I created it because I've always had trouble focusing. And I ran an experiment where I asked a person to follow me around, and I hired someone on Craigslist to follow me around. And every time I wasted time on Facebook, she would slap me in the face. And I wrote a blog post about how I wrote 5 months of work in 5 days because I was so focused. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if I made like a dog collar that could zap me every time I went on Facebook? And so a friend of mine knew how to make hardware. We prototyped out a funny video of me getting zapped every time I went on Facebook with a dog collar. And I was like, this is actually really interesting. It's more than just funny. Like, there's a million wearables that track what you do, but this is the first one that's changing what I do. Maybe this is bigger than just a blog post or something. So that was why I got the idea for a company, Pavlok. And the whole goal of our company is that we help our users stick to their goals. We want 100% of the people who come into our ecosystem who say, I want to start or stop doing something, to achieve that goal with no chance of failure. That's our vision. And so that's what we do.
Now, I follow you on Facebook, and you talked about how your company, you didn't have any big funding or anything. So how did you get it from this idea that you have that obviously works to build the business and to kind of get the business and start the business and grow it?
Yeah. Okay. So there's 2 things that I did that I was lucky to have started. And it seems like you're starting to do the same, which is build a following. So having like a group of followers or people who read your content, a blog, an email list, a messenger bot, whatever it is, people who are like really, really cool, people who follow, I built a blog and I had I had like 30,000 followers who followed my content in my email list. So that was like, I thought that was a really, you're able to start doing that immediately if you start just writing and finding friends and putting out content for yourself. That was really very helpful for any endeavor I was supposed to do. So that was what I first did. I spent a lot of years building a blog, writing content, getting followers. That was very helpful. After that, with hardware is different than what most people probably want to do who are your listeners. Hardware is a very difficult beast. I did have some funding. I took $50,000 from a company in Boston called Bolts, who took a percentage of my company, but they helped me build my idea from idea into prototype into first designs. And I took a little bit more money from angel investors, but I haven't taken it. But that was because building in a hardware device costs a lot of money. But building software, or especially building content, costs no money. So you don't need to have funding for those 2 types of businesses. Yeah, I think, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I mean, does that answer your question? Or?
Yeah, unless you had anything else you wanted to add.
No, that's it.
So you got a little bit of funding and you got the business going. And then did you start making profit and then just put that back into the business?
No, it's not that kind. It's so like we raise money, and then we are always like, money for a hardware business is a very different beast because you have to buy inventory. Like, so we sold on our first Kickstarter campaign, we sold like $250,000 or $280,000, which is cool. And we had this much money, and then we suddenly had to ship it a year later, right? We're about to ship this Kickstarter money. And we realized that the cost of the inventory to make the product was like $140,000. Half of the cost of all the money we took in would be just spent on buying the parts and the shipping and the labor to make the product. And we'd already spent all the money, right? Because of course we've already spent all the Kickstarter money because we have to spend it on stuff that we're doing and designing, and it's expensive to build a product. So with hardware, it's kind of a difficult beast, and it has a lot to do with negotiation, and it has a lot to do with terms because you have to deal with like suppliers and vendors and stuff. But if you're someone who's new and just getting started and just starting to work and interested in going online and figuring out a way to make money online, I don't think I would start with hardware. I don't think I would do that. Yeah, what kind of readers how can I add value to the readers or listeners who follow you?
I mean, I think a lot of it is just kind of sharing your story and kind of, but also like any mindsets. Like, is there anything you think that, because a lot of people, they want to be successful. Is there anything you think that you did differently or that separates you from everyone else that's kind of allowed you to have some pretty good success?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors. I think self-awareness has been a big deal for me over the last few years, especially growing this company. I feel like the biggest breakthrough I had for understanding where I fit into the ecosystem of the world was through a book I read called The Art of Speed Reading People. And it was about personality typing and how to identify the personality types of other people and what that means. And for me, it was most important. It helped me identify my own personality, which was very, very different than the norm. And I learned that there are ways that people interact with the world, and some people like to be doers, and some people like to be idea people, and some people like to be followers, and some people like to be execution people. And that the place like that we optimize, like that we've been pressured into being since we're children, is one specific box, and that like everyone else who's around the world feels bad for not being perfect in the ways that society optimizes for. But that doesn't mean that I'm broken because I'm not a finisher, because I'm ADHD, because I have trouble getting stuff done, because I always say I'm going to do something and then don't do it, because I'm always late. I always felt like a failure, not just bad, but morally bad, like a bad person because I couldn't show up on time to class, And I found out that that's actually it's very typical, a specific personality, and that personality is in my case, it's the ENTP, which is inventor, idea person, has brilliant ideas, but it's impossible to finish stuff. He works really well with other people who surround him, who can take those ideas and then run with them. And so that was a big breakthrough for me to understand who I was and that I was designed to do specific tasks. I think that a lot of people who are in search of a business often are more in search of themselves. And I think that a lot of people they don't want to run a business. It's in vogue and they're trying to make money because we as a society have decided that money is important, and that they get kind of forced into boxes that they get uncomfortable with. And so I think the first step into finding your business should be kind of identifying who you are as a person. I think that book or Myers-Briggs personality tests in general are very helpful for helping you, and Enneagram as well are very helpful for learning more about yourself. Self-awareness, that's my part.
So you read a book that kind of opened your eyes up to the kind of person you were, and then you kind of created the business or a life kind of around, I guess, your strengths. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, but it's not like, no, it's like I've always been doing what I do. Like I'm not in control of my actions. Like I just do what I do. I have very little belief in free will. Like I'm more of a behaviorist, and I believe very much in the depths of the brain. I'm a brain psychologist, and I see the world in a specific way. And I know that my basal ganglia habit reflexes in my brain are much more powerful than my prefrontal cortex. And I know how that, like I can understand a lot about how my brain works because I study it so deeply. But what I'm saying is I was always like, since I was 5, I was starting businesses. I think I sold books for a quarter on the street for when I was 5 years old. And then I started, I bought a CD burner, and I made websites for my dad's friends when I was 10. And then I bought a CD burner, and I made mixed CDs for people right when they came out, and all these like business ideas when I was young. I used to sell t-shirts and sweatshirts and thongs with my face on it, door to door at school when I was 16. I made like $700 in like 4 days as a 16-year-old selling fucking, no one bought the thongs, but the t-shirts and the sweatshirts sold out like hotcakes. And then, and I've just always been entrepreneurial, and I was always taught, you know, I was in an Indian family and they didn't like it. So it wasn't a good thing. I think that's the reason why I do it. It's because like, it's not a good thing, because like I've designed to not be motivated by people not liking what I do, be motivated by people saying I can't do stuff. And so like that helped push me towards just entrepreneurialism. And so when I got to what I'm getting at is this, it was mindset. It's that I am entrepreneurial, but I always felt bad about it. And that bad feeling held me back. That bad feeling was making it so that I was worried and stressed and scared instead of accepting. And then once I started accepting that I shouldn't do stuff, and I can tell my team this, and that they'll understand that they're going to be the ones who have to do minutes at the meeting. You know, they have to take command, and I can delegate. Then it started to build. Well, I mean, our company's we're still early, so we haven't succeeded yet, right? I don't think in any way have we succeeded yet. But I think that it's made us better since I've been more comfortable with who we are.
So what happened to allow yourself to be comfortable in who you are and be the entrepreneur and not kind of hold back and think that was a bad thing when people were telling you it wasn't good?
It was the personality typing. Okay. So like there's a specific story. I needed some money, and we were raising a little bit from friends and family. I was just calling up anybody I knew and being like, hey, can I have 10K? And I got one guy, James Swaneke, offered to give me 10K. And he said, all I need is just like, can you just like send me like, you know, a quick, 700 words or something, just like a page and a half, like one pager about your company and what it's for, and I'll send you the money. No brainer, right? Just write up a quick thing. He's already said yes. He just wants something in his records. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I have a 4.5-hour train from Boston to New York. And I'm like, okay, cool. I will just write it on the way there, or vice versa. 4.5 hours later, I haven't even opened up Microsoft Word, and I haven't even started. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to sleep until I finish this thing. And like, it's now 7 a.m. and I've written 100 words and I have a fucking animated GIF. And it's like, this isn't like college where I can blame it on me not caring. It's like my company and 10K. And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to be a successful entrepreneur if I can't do this, right? Like, it's the easiest thing in the world. It's just sitting there. And so last ditch effort, I grabbed my phone and I recorded what I wanted to say for like 45 seconds. And then I sent it to this new intern I just got from Tufts. And he, 45 minutes later, sent me back basically a full draft of what I'd said, typed up 750 words, and I just hit send. And I was like, oh, like some people are designed to like fill out spreadsheets, and some people are designed to know what spreadsheets should be filled out. And that those two people are almost never the same. Actually, maybe never the same. And so that like personality typing plus these experiences where I got to explore what that meant started to help me understand a lot about how teams work well together and how individuals should be pushed towards things that excite them, and that there's communities of people who are similar to them, and that anxiety, depression, sadness, anger often comes from personality types being in a clashing scenario or being constrained due to either resources or emotional support, and that there's ways to measure that and optimize for it. That's what the personality typing thing did for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You said your company's not where you want it to be. What is your ultimate goal with the company that you have?
I want 100% of the people who come into our ecosystem who say, I will achieve this goal or form this habit, or I will never do this habit again, to have a 100% chance of success with no chance of failure. So that's what our ultimate goal is. And we have a big, hairy, audacious goal we have on our wall. It's got 10 million habits changed in 10 years is our BHAG. So we're measuring starting July. We have measurements for when habits are broken. And then we will make that number become 10 million. That's the goal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I told you this, but I used your product. I lost 40 pounds in 2 months at the end of last year. And
so cool.
Yeah,
40 fucking pounds.
Mm-hmm.
40 pounds. That's insane.
In 2 months.
Shit. 2 months?
2 months.
Dude, I got to get a testimonial at some point.
Oh, I got the before pictures, too, of me in the mirror with my belly hanging out. Me holding the Pavlok.
Over, man. Dude, that's great. Can you send those?
I'll send them over, man. My face is all big and everything, you know.
Shit. And so you know what it's like then. You know the effects. It's like, yeah, man, it's crazy because the device is not even fucking, it's like obvious that it works almost. It's like once you've used it, it's like, yeah, of course, if you zap yourself when you want to stop doing something, you'll stop doing it. But to other people, it doesn't seem true. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember when I first found out about your product, and I remember something Anthony Robbins was saying in one of his books where he talks about pain and pleasure. And if you have a habit you don't want, you want to link more pain because it's more powerful and it's more motivating to the habit and pleasure. And I remember thinking, I was like, well, the Pavlok does that, but it's like a cheat. Because it's like a quick hack, because instead of me having to go in my head and trying to do all these things that create negative emotions, I just got to press a button that's going to give me a lot of pain. I said, it's genius. As soon as I thought about that, the next day I bought the product.
That's cool. That's cool. Damn, I like that's my testimonial right there. It's just going to cut that section out. Damn. Yo, bro, that's actually really cool. But it's exactly like you said. It's like a cheat. It's like a hack. And it's like, and also like, it's like the funny thing is how it has like a 3-star rating, because you get all these people who are haters who are like giving it 1 star because they saw us on Shark Tank, or because why don't I just use a rubber band, or why would I wear that, or like you're a horrible person, you're trying to like hurt people. And I'm like, no, dude, nah, I'm not actually. But what's crazy about it is that like people like, how do I explain this? Have you read the book 0 to 1?
I've not.
Okay, so he talks about Peter Thiel, founder of PayPal, talks about how people, there's 2 types of companies, and people think that competition is good and that capitalism is based on competition. And he says that people will go and say, all right, if only I get 1% of the market, I'll make this much money. But the issue is that because there is a market, by definition, you're going to have price competition. People are in the market and they were going to start competing with you. So they'll start driving your price down. It's going to be hard to get, even if you do get a foothold in, that means you're going to have to do it by competing at a lower price or having another way to adjust the service. He said, on the other hand, there's specific types of companies who identify that there is a fundamentally misunderstood way of perceiving the world or a way of doing something. And it's fundamentally misunderstood what the truth is. And that a founder, usually who's not in that field, will see this fundamentally different way of doing something, and it's like a green pasture. Like there's no competition anywhere. And it's like Google, for example. Like everyone else is making directories, and they're just like, what if we said it's links, interlinking between sites? No one had thought of that before. So it was just like a brand new way of perceiving the world. Or like the Henry Ford and the car, right? Or smartphone and the iPhone. And so, what was I saying? So like, what I think though is that like our product is fundamentally different than how the world perceives, what the prevailing worldview is. And so there's no competition. And that's the weirdest thing. It's like no one's built a competing product, and it's been 4 years. And it's like that's crazy. And like the worst thing is that it's not even like they're not building competing products, but our product is not just hardware. We have coaching, we have software, we have alarm clock. Our product is designed to solve many categories. It's basically haptic touch. It's touch through sensory input. And there's this app, but there's vibrations and audio patterns and lights and stuff. And what's interesting to me is the fact that we haven't seen a single competitor do any. Like we've seen almost nothing. Have you seen anything? Do you know a competitor, Pavlok?
No, I haven't.
No, there's like nothing, and it's weird. It's scary. It's actually frightening. It's more frightening than you think. It's because either I'm brilliant and have a 0-1 company, or it's a really bad idea and like no one's trying for a reason. It's like we're still like last year was our first profitable year, but we were not that profitable. We're still like this year we're like about to launch a new product, so God willing, we're gonna be real rich soon. God willing. Yeah. Oh, so I haven't talked about the new product. So we're pulling away a lot from the we're building a brand new hardware and software product that's focused on the morning. We found out that our alarm clock it's our most used part of the product to help people wake up early. There's like vibrating alarms, silent alarms, but you can set it to make sure you get out of bed. You got to do jumping jacks to turn off the alarm, or it'll zap you. And so we have these alarms that for people who are having trouble getting up, they love because like nothing else has ever worked. And it trains their brain to wake up a few seconds before the alarm goes off. So they actually never get zapped and often don't have to wear it after a few weeks, which is pretty cool. So we said, all right, now that you're awake, what do you do next? Well, your morning routine. So we're creating a new app called Pavlok, app and hardware called Pavlok Rise. It's a device that helps you wake up early, stay up, and form a productive morning routine. And you basically follow the routines of a bunch of other people. We have famous people, we have influencers, we have people from history, like Dave Asprey, for example, or Benjamin Franklin. You'll wake up in the morning, you'll join a group of other people who are following the same routine, and we'll help hold you to your morning routine and help you make that a habit. So that's the new product we're about to launch. What do you think about that?
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
whose habit would you follow?
Say it again.
Whose habit would you follow? If anybody from the morning routine, what historical figure or famous person alive today?
I don't know. I like Anthony Robbins, who does the incantations.
Yeah, I've seen it. That's cool.
So, but I think Abraham Lincoln did something where he tried to change a new habit like every 2 months or something, or tried to get a new skill.
Oh, Franklin. Yeah, he did that like new habit thing. Yeah, he's my personality type. Same one.
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. You're running this. I think it's a pretty cool business, and you got all these employees. What are your what are the day-to-day operations that you do? What are the things that you focus on in your business? Okay,
so I've started to accept that I am not focused. So I'm fucking lazy, or not lazy, but I'm by nature responsive. So I spend a lot of time on Facebook chatting. And then my day-to-day is, I'd say probably 4 to 6 hours are wasted time on Facebook per day. And then I'd say probably 30 minutes to 2 hours are meetings. So meetings, often I'll do execution meetings. So when I really need to get something done, it always happens the same way. It's like, I'll try to do it for so long and I won't be able to do it. And then finally I'll schedule a meeting with somebody else in the office. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. We finish this up. And like, it gets done in a 30-minute meeting, which is my style of execution, basically. So day-to-day changes a lot. What it is today and these days is planning for my Kickstarter. I'll have a lot of time spent on specific daily tasks, like weekly tasks, like I'm trying to contact press and affiliates. So like on Facebook is where I contact people. I'm building a messenger bot. I don't know, man. It's like I do a lot of stuff. I have so I'm doing three big things in my life right now, which is Pavlok. Then I'm doing a master's in Harvard's Extension School in clinical psych. And I'm doing stand-up comedy like twice a week. Like I'm performing stand-up in Boston. And so I'm trying to do, like, what I've noticed is that my best strength is kind of like a big visionary puppeteer. Like I can see the big picture and I have a vision. And I delineate a difference between leaders and managers. A leader is someone who speaks, or a manager is somebody who manages multiple people. They know many people and their personalities and how they work best to get stuff done. A leader speaks to one person. They have a grand vision, and that grand vision is what the managers understand and move towards. So does that make sense? So what my job is to set the vision, explain what we're doing, and find good people who achieve tasks that I have 3 times a week meetings with, that I can help shape the path. So if they're showing me a new app, I'll tell them how to adjust that app. But I focus a lot on the bigger picture, creating the systems and trying to get to the next step. And I find that I socialize with a lot of people, and that helps. I don't know. It's probably should be better at execution, but I spend a lot of time trying to meet with others. That's it.
How many full-time and part-time people do you have that work with you?
We have 9 or 10 full-time people, and then 10 contractor part-time people. Our burn is like 85 to 90,000 a month. It's crazy. It's crazy. If I don't make like at least $5,500 a day, I'm losing money. So like if I have like a July 4th where I make like a 2K a day, it's not like I made 2K. It's like I just lost $3,500 like out of my pocket. It's crazy. It sucks.
Very cool. So I guess as we're kind of wrapping up, I think we're at the half an hour point. I'm trying to look at the time right there. So what are, I guess I just got like 2 more questions. So if someone's just starting off, or they maybe got something they're trying to get going, what is maybe some advice or some guidance you could share with someone that could maybe kind of help them find what they should do and get to the point to where they could get something off the ground and be financially successful?
I think they should start off with let's see. I think they should find people who are doing stuff that they want to do and talk to them. Find real human beings, or Skype calls are cool, but like try to go to a place where they are, and talk to them and make a friend. It's there's a thing called, I wrote a blog post once called the Drew Barrymore Never Been Kissed Effect, and I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but Drew Barrymore has to go back in time to be in high school again, and she was never cool, and then she goes back in time and makes no friends. And her brother does too, and makes a lot of friends on his first day. She says, how did you do it? How did you make friends? How did you break into the school community? He said, the secret is you just need one. You find one person who will be your closest friend, who will bring you into the community. That's how you break into a high school. And so the truth is, the secret to achieving whatever goal is to find people a little farther ahead than you, not that much farther, just a little, who you can become friends with. I mean, go meet the people, and maybe you'll become best friends with someone who's way far ahead of you. And that's great. It's, but you also want to get people who are just on the path to where you want to go, who can give you and impart upon you knowledge that'll like help you shape your way towards that path. And there is no end. There's no goal. So like, you can't fail. Just try to be a little better every day and be a little happier. There's nowhere to go. So, just try to find the right path.
Awesome.
Take a right. Yeah, that's it.
And then if people want to check out kind of your products and the stuff you have going on, is there a website or a link to your blog, or where would you tell people to go?
You should go to check out Pavlok S. When is this going live?
Oh, this video?
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to post it probably tomorrow.
Oh, okay. I'll give you a link. Well, pavlok.com /rise-s. It sucks URL. I'll give you a URL. Go to pavlok.com. You can check it out there. We're about to launch a Kickstarter product, so make sure that you opt in. If you can find that button, it's pretty hidden, so we can send you updates. Like us on Facebook. Tell your friends. Send us some donations. Do 20 push-ups and get a glass of water too, guys. If you're listening to this, just drink some water. It's really good for you.